Yo, good afternoon. Welcome back to Heavy Metal Devils. Danny here giving you some of the latest Manchester United news on Saturday, the 29th of July. We've got some pretty big news regarding Mason Greenwood's potential return to Manchester United. Big news on David Beckham wanting the Glazers out, publicly stating this and maybe wanting some involvement with Manchester United, and a bit of news on Harry Maguire's potential move to West Ham. But anyway, before we get right into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 600 subs ASAP, guys. It would be so awesome, and I can't do it without your help. So hit that subscribe, and let's get to 600. Anyway, let's get into the news. Anyway, let's start with this Mason Greenwood breaking news. I say breaking news. It's not really breaking news. Anyway, it looks like Adidas and Manchester United have been talking about Mason Greenwood's return. And apparently, Greenwood and Adidas have been speaking as well. But I need to throw a little caveat in there, is that this is all coming from the Sun. Hashtag don't by the Sun. So take all of this with a pinch of salt. So they're saying that they're pretty okay with Greenwood returning to training, and there's been talks about him doing a video with his girlfriend and baby about the whole situation that's unfolded over the last 18 months. Now, I don't get where Adidas has any right to say to allow Mason Greenwood to return. They should have no say in this. It's not really up to them. This is something that they need to consult with the fans. They need to either do a poll to see how the reaction would be of him coming back, maybe do this interview, gauge that reaction, and see if it's worth bringing him back. Now, here is what I would do. And I've heard this on a few different channels as well. I would announce that I would do this video, have him speak to our fans. You know, let's have this story come out. Let's have him talk about this story, what's happened over the last 18 months or so. But I would still not bring him back into the team this season. I would let him go on loan. You have to remember, this guy has not played football for nearly 2 years. His fitness has probably severely dropped. And I can guarantee you that he is rusty. I am sure anyone not doing what they love to do for 2 years is going to come back rusty. So getting him out of Manchester into another team to let him develop, let him get his fitness back, let him get his skills back would be an ideal situation. Not to mention that this kid would be absolutely slaughtered by rival fans, the media, the newspapers. So I think it's best to keep him out of the spotlight of Manchester United. I think when people talk about bringing Mason Greenwood back, they're doing it in a very selfish way. They only care about what they feel about the football club, what they feel about Mason Greenwood, disregarding how his potential teammates could feel, how the fans could feel, how sponsors could feel. It looks like sponsors are starting to lean to him coming back, but a lot of people wanting him back are looking at this through their own glasses and not through anyone else's, which is kind of a shame, but to be expected. Look, I'm not going to hate you if you want him back. We remember, this is one of the most gifted youngsters we've ever seen come out of the academy, and it's kind of a shame of what's happened. But to get him back into the team, we cannot rush it, guys. We cannot rush it. We should let him go on a loan somewhere else to get his career kick-started again. Let that media die, and then we bring him back once he has his confidence, his fitness, everything back. It's just not right. I don't think it's fair to him or fair to the fans that some of the fans don't want him back. Not fair to him as well. It's going to really, really destroy his mental state if he is thrown out there being abused over and over again. And who knows what that might lead to. I have always been on the boat of him not returning to Manchester United. At the minimum, go on a loan for a year to get all this media attention down and out. So let's see what happens. Adidas look to be okay with him returning to the team, but with all due respect to Adidas, they have no say on this, in my opinion. They do not get to decide who gets to play for Manchester United and when they get to play for Manchester United. So to me, this all needs to come down to what the fans want. But that's something Manchester United has honestly really, really struggled with in the past. But let's see if this whole situation can have that improvement to it. So keep your eyes peeled. Maybe he comes back this season. I wouldn't say I wouldn't put that past United, but I honestly don't see it. I see him keeping maybe in the background training or going on a loan somewhere else. That is just my feel about it. So that's the news on Mason Greenwood. Let me know how you feel about Mason Greenwood. Do you want him back into the team? Do you want him out of the club, or do you want him on loan? I just want to see what everyone feels about Mason Greenwood. And speaking on the club, David Beckham has publicly come out and said it is best for the Glazers to leave. Let me pull up the actual quote. It was something along the lines of, once you lose the fans, there's no going back. Just one speaks on Glazers. There we go. Sorry. Just came back from like a wedding, so I've been a bit been nuts. So anyway, United legend, this is coming from The Athletic, by the way. So this has been reported on Sky Sports, Athletic, ESPN. So David Beckham has urged the Glazers to leave United, as he's told The Athletic. Off the field, as a fan and ex-player, I just want it resolved. There has to be a decision regarding the ownership. Whoever's running your club, you want them to be passionate and involved. Make the right decisions, bring in the right players, and here's the big one, invest in the club, which the Glazers have never done. Because the club does need investment, whether it's the training facility, the stadium, or on the field, these kinds of big things need to be made, and changes do need to happen, especially when you see the likes of Man City and what they are doing. Sorry, it goes on a bit more. He was asked specifically if it was time for them to leave, and he goes, I think so. I think it's purely because the fans want it. Once you lose the fans, especially at a club like Manchester United, it's really, really hard to get them back. Obviously, the Glazers have achieved a lot. I would say that is debatable. And financially, the fact we're even talking about the number of what Manchester United will sell for shows the success they had. But there needs to be a change. We've all seen that, and we all know that. Pretty big words from arguably the most popular player to ever come out of Manchester United. So I think if he's saying that, I wonder if this is going to put more pressure on the Glazers, because it's one thing if a guy like Wayne Rooney is saying this, or Patrice Evra, but David Beckham is a global phenomenon, and now he's publicly came out and said they need to go. And on top of that, him wanting them to go, he is open to get involved with Manchester United and its future. What that means, I don't know. I could see that being more of an ambassador role. I wouldn't expect it to be like a director of football or anything, but maybe just an ambassador role to help the new ownership get up to speed, and increase the vision of Manchester United across this planet. If we actually need any more fans, really, we always need more fans. We're only the biggest club in England, right? But anyway, big news on. I think that's pretty big coming from David Beckham. He's really doesn't really talk about things like this too much anymore. He's very focused on what he does. Doesn't want to cause tension. He's very focused on Inter Miami and what's going on with Messi. But to me, it's a really, really positive thing that he is coming out and publicly stating this from arguably the most popular I would say most popular player to ever play for Manchester United. I would say maybe Ronaldo. Could be an exception to that, but Ronaldo has already come and said what he said about Glazers and their ownership, and now it's David Beckham. David Beckham. This is going to hit across the world fast. Anyway, so that's the news from David Beckham. He wants the Glazers out. He potentially wants in on Manchester United as well. So let's see what happens from here on out. Lots of news about a potential club sale announcement or update once the U.S. tour is done, but I think it's all bullshit. Why do they need to wait until the U.S. tour is done? Doesn't make any sense. The U.S. tour and the sale are two complete separate things. It's looking more and more muddy every day with this sale. It's been 2 months now since the final bid from Sheikh Jassim, over 3 months since the final bid from Jim Ratcliffe, and nothing has come out of it. Rio Ferdinand, where are you at? What's going on with all these announcements you keep making? I don't see shit happening. And I've always said this, ain't shit gonna happen with this club until the end of this transfer window, at the very least. Anyway, fuck the Glazers. Let's move on. Harry Maguire. West Ham reportedly made a joke of a bid for Harry Maguire for 20 million pounds. I think it was pounds, 20 million pounds, which was immediately rejected by Manchester United. So Manchester United want at least 40 million pounds for Harry Maguire. Will we get 40 million pounds from Harry Maguire? Probably not. But I think that's just a starting place for Manchester United. I can actually see this happening. There's been talks about him and McTominay going over to West Ham. With what's just happened with Kobe Mainoo being out for possibly 4 to 6 months, I now seek a scenario where Scott McTominay stays, even if we get Amrabat in. We just need bodies, don't we? But if someone comes in with a big bid for McTominay, let him go. Anyway, but back to Harry Maguire. I actually can see this deal happening. It's going to take a bit of negotiation, but I can see us settling with around 30, 32, at a push, 35 million pounds. And I think that will be enough to seal that deal and let Harry Maguire go and enjoy his football somewhere else. Now, it could happen that Scott McTominay goes and joins him. You know, we've slapped a 40 million pound price tag on him as well, which is a very, very good deal for anyone. I think he's worth that money, and he would probably go for anywhere between that 30 and 40 million bracket anyway at the moment. But yeah, that one's a bit shaky. But Harry Maguire, I think, looks more and more likely every day. We sell him and maybe bring in a guy like Desasi in as a backup center back now, because we will need to replace him. If not now, we have to replace him in the winter transfer market. We can't just have 3 center backs, unfortunately. We need 4 to 5 at least. So yeah, that's all the news I have for you. That's some big news regarding Mason Greenwood potentially returning, David Beckham speaking out on the Glazers, and Harry Maguire's bid being turned down by Manchester United. But don't expect that to be the last bid. But anyway, that's all I got for you right now. Don't forget to like, share, and the big one, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you all on the next one. Later.